some projects have only 5 people will be there. Depends on the project, right? So the size of the project will be there. Especially if the project size is very big. See, whether it's a big or small. For example, as a project manager nowadays, they mandated. So as a project manager, you're supposed to handle minimum 4 to 5 projects. One project, maybe the one project we have only 5 people, and other projects I have 20 or 30 people. But each and every person, if they come up to me saying that I don't know, I got error, can you help me? Can you help me? They cannot afford, they don't have time. Everyone should be on their own foot. Okay. So here, even in software company, you know the trend, you know the culture, right? When people will talk nice to you, or even your friend will talk to you nicely, but when you get some error, when you call him, you will be busy with his work. Okay, because you know, for you and him, the manager is same, but one issue is your manager will keep coming to your desk and he will see you why you are talking to him, why you are wasting his time. So those are those things. That's why before you know, instead of hurry barily going and joining, right, and at the end of the day, you should not we should not develop heart attack, and our manager should not you know, get heart attack, and the whole team should not get any bad name. That's the reason why prepare very well. And again, everywhere they will expect you to be a self-motivated go-getter. We are not small kids, right? Okay, we are new into IT industry, software industry, fine. Some extent we can help you as a training center. We can help you. What is the culture, everything. And with that, you need to prepare very well. Okay. Okay, we will get started without wasting the time. They will start with, in the interview, as usual, they start with asking this common question. Can you brief me about yourself? Can you brief me about yourself? Okay, and can you brief me about what they are expecting is, what is your academic? Just say I did my postgraduate in so and so thing, or I am a, you know, engineering graduate and I completed my degree in 2019 or 18, and I completed it. For the last 3-4 years, I've been into this analytics practice, and currently I am working on both the Power BI as well as the SQL Server. In the recent project, you know, we are all the source system data are lying in the SQL Server, majority of them. Or the few data we used to get it in the Excel CSV files, because we don't have access to the source system. Hence, we cannot you know, get the data directly from there. From the source system, the data are pushed to the staging area. Okay, and this Monday we will spend 1 hour time. I'll explain you what the ETL, all the things. Okay. Now they'll ask you about, what you do is you start with giving your background, your academic background, and you tell them that you carry 4 to 4.5 years experience. Like how the other student, right, the Andhra lady, how she spoke, right? That's how you can talk confidently. Okay. See, like you, remember that when you attend the interview, like you, already they would have received hundreds of profiles. They spend a lot of time in finding the good profile. On top, when we influence them in the sense we have some relationship with our previous colleagues. See, in 2009, when I left Cognizant, I was a senior manager. I left at that time. Okay. Though, you know, that time, my colleagues, you know, my peers, when I worked that time in Cognizant, now they all got promoted as a vice president level. They are managing 500 and plus projects. They expect, you know, seriously good potential resumes. Okay, at least see, even if you say I did my graduation 2010 or 15, for ladies you can give a lot of excuse. Okay, and then you can tell them for the last 5 years I've been into this. I have relevant experience in Power BI as well as SQL Server, and also we worked with all the things, and they will see where resume, and then they will ask, okay, you in your resume you just mentioned only 4 projects. So for the last 4.5 years, you have been working in only 4 projects. If they ask you, you can tell them, yes, the current project, I've been into this current project for the last 2.5 years. You can tell them that way. Remaining 2 years, you know, you can tell them I worked in different projects. But why 2.5 years? But you are saying that how many reports you developed? close to 10 to 13 reports we developed. And also we have developed close to 2 to 3 dashboards. Okay, 2.5 years is way too long. You could have developed a lot of reports. Why only 10 or 12 reports? Why only 3 dashboards? No, it is a support and maintenance project. You have to tell this one, support and maintenance project. In the case of support and maintenance project, already a lot of reports and ETL jobs are running there in their environment. Everything, most of the reports, most of the ETL jobs were running in their environment already. So in case of any error comes, we need to fix it. That is what support. Sometimes due to file format or due to some other issues, the report can fail or the report will not populate the data. Sometimes you will have issues like a report takes longer time to populate the data in it. Okay, so these kind of issues. Okay, and I'm recording it. I'll just sharing it to you. Okay, and then then they'll ask you. Okay, so that means it is not a full-fledged development project. Yeah, we have a mix of development tasks, but it is not a full-blown development project. Okay, we get we get some pieces of work. Okay, it's not like a full-blown project. Sometimes they ask us to create some new reports, and then they want us to automate that, but we don't have access to setting up the Power Automate. We have something called Power Automate to tell them. So it's a Power Apps. Okay, as part of the Power Apps, we have something called Power Automate. So there, we used to automate the jobs, but I don't have any access to that. Our on-site team, they take care of it. What is your team size? You can tell them. We have in offshore, we have 8 people are there. Okay, on-site we have one coordinator. He is the one doing all kind of automation. We don't have any option. Only thing is we develop all the reports and the ETL jobs. So ETL, which tool did you use it? In Power BI, we have used the Power Query Editor. And couple of things, since this SQL Server is our source system, a couple of things, we wrote some stored procedure. In some cases, we create some views for aggregation. Okay, and okay, the next thing is they'll ask you how do you rate yourself in Power BI, and in Power BI DAX, how do you rate within Power BI in each chapter? How much you rank yourself. For example, Power Query Editor. How good are you with Power Query Editor? So out of 5, you can say out of 5, I can rate myself 4. And now I'm good in data modeling. Out of 5, I could say 4, and DAX 4. You can tell them. You can rate yourself that way. In SQL Server also, I can rate myself 4. If you say that you are 4 years experience, they will. But if you put more, the expectations will be very high. Let us not take the risk. Okay. And there are guys, those attended the training with me, 10-year experience. The project leader already they were working as a project leader and manager, and they are smart guys because they already knew the software culture, everything, and they had a lot of experience. But learning this tool, they tell as though they managed the team and they got much hike, and they joined in the next company as a project manager, from project leader to project manager. But I don't want you to take the risk, because all you need is a break. Okay, at least if you get 10.5 lakhs reasonably, like Abhijit and Anuradha and all. Anuradha is getting 11 lakhs now. And if you get a break like that, that is more than sufficient. So even after they joined with the new company, they are posing issues, and somehow, right, they created the rapport with their, they created a rapport with their existing managers. So not managers, so the team leads and all. Okay, and some of them, but he helped them. Okay, so whenever they got stuck, and sometimes they used to call me, sir, I got stuck. Can you please help? What solutions can I? They want us to dynamically, do the formatting, the conditional format, dynamic conditional formatting. They want us to do it. They want this one to be made as a dynamic, instead of going manually and specifying the dynamic conditional formatting. They want us to make it dynamic. How can we do that? So in that kind of situation, we help. The interview also, they will ask you these kind of questions, more related dynamic reporting. What is dynamic reporting? So in our report, we have used a lot of parameters. We can say not a lot of, we have used parameters. By using parameters, we can make our report dynamic. What kind of parameters that you used? We have used the query parameter, and query parameter, with that we are able to restrict the users to view only the relevant data. And also the row level security options also we enabled. So with that, the users can view only the relevant data. They are not supposed to view others data. For example, the payroll manager should not view finance data and vice versa. So that's how we made sure that, so again, they've given everything as part of the non-functional requirements. There is something called functional requirement, non-functional requirement. The security, all these things, performance, report takes longer time to display, and then the security, all these things falls under non-functional requirement. Okay, functional requirements are something like they want you to create a KPI. Okay, so have you created the KPI as per the formula given by them? So with different conditions, is that working fine or not? For example, they want you to create a KPI, something like average transaction value, total revenue divided by number of transactions, that is average transaction value. Okay, why do you need to, so they can ask you this question, why they use the average transaction value? So this gives them a general idea of how much people are spending, customers are spending. So in the case of retail, how much? And with this, right, they can derive some insights, and then they can take some action steps from this KPI. So for example, having a low average dollar per transaction indicates that you need to rethink your pricing strategy. Okay, so they will think, so this value, the metrics can help them to fine tune their business strategy. So this kind of thing, and then they'll ask you in the current project, how many reports that you created. You can tell them 10. So you tell me in which report, out of the 10 reports, how many reports you have more number of pages. Can you tell me how many number of pages were there? You can tell them out of the 10 projects, 10 reports we developed. 4 reports on an average, it was having close to 7 to 8 pages were there. And the next question is, what is sync slicer? So can someone tell me what is sync slicer? See, every answer, right? When you answer, if they ask any questions, or when you try to explain what you did in the project, like I said, so we created in total close to 10 reports, and they'll ask immediately, only 10 reports you did? Sir, as part of the development, we have done, we developed 10 reports. And apart from this, bug fixing, in case of any error comes up in the existing report, already they deployed some reports on the production environment, but due to some data issues, the report, the visuals, some visuals were not populating the data. It was throwing some error. So those kind of things we used to involve in bug fixing, creating a common slicer, or all. Very good, Shweta, right? So the creating common slicer, like that is what your sync slicer. Sync slicer is basically you create a slicer. Let's say in a report, I have 10 pages are there. We don't want to, we want to use the same slicer across 10 pages. Not necessarily 10 pages, you have to use the same slicer, but let's assume that, there is a requirement. There is a requirement. The same slicer needs to be displayed, or or all the 10 pages should be available in the first page, in the executive summary page. Whatever the selection that we make it as part of the slicer, that slicer values, whatever we select, that one should, yeah, so whatever the selection that we make it in a slicer, that should, that selection should get, that selection should be synced to all the pages. So for that, we have used sync slicer. The next question is, how did you create sync slicer? How did you create sync slicer? and then they will expect you to tell, how you created. They see how, how are you able to remember it. And the point here is they wanted to test, are you able to remember these things? Sync slicer where you will create. In the view ribbon, you will have the sync slicer. You have to tell them the view ribbon, we have something called sync slicer. And then when you click on the sync slicer, there you can see the page. You need to explain them. Yeah, we need to tell them that way. So that way they will think, okay, this guy profile seems to be genuine. He's still remembering. That means he has been working in Power BI, left and right. Very good. That's how they'll think. And the other common questions what they will ask is, what are the source system that you have used it apart from SQL Server? You can tell them, CSV files and CSV files and predominantly CSV files and SQL Server. We worked on it. And how about the other projects? In the previous projects also you worked on SQL Server? No, in the previous projects, the customers, they give us the CSV files, and the CSV files, we take it, we load it into our Power BI desktop, and then we do data modeling, everything, and then we'll load it into our staging area. Okay, using Power Query Editor itself, we did it because it's all CSV files. But the difference, the challenge here is, since it's all CSV files, we need to refresh this data frequently. Some files on a daily basis, we need to refresh it. Some files, we need to refresh it on a weekly basis. And some tables, some files, we need to refresh it on monthly basis. But most of the cases, in the current project, we are using data warehouse database. In the SQL Server, we have data warehouse. In the data warehouse, they already created, they did everything, data modeling, everything. This is a nice escape. Okay, if the company already has a data warehouse, they would have done everything, that the data modeling, everything, the dimensional star schema, everything, they would have created it. Then, right, so you can tell them already they created the data model, everything. Using SQL Server, we connect it. And the next question is, okay, you are using SQL Server. Then did you use the direct connectivity mode or import mode? So every answer leads to another question. Okay, then you can say yes. For few tables, we have used direct query mode. In the view ribbon, yeah, depend on project, but we cannot say all the cases, right? They depend on project, but in the current project, they will ask you. So you need to tell some, they will expect you to quantify. So in the current project, fact tables, we use to connect it with direct connectivity mode. Can you tell me what is the fact table that uses? We have sales fact and we have inventory fact tables were there. We can tell them we have sales fact and inventory fact tables. And what is fact table? Fact table captures both the measures as well as the dimension key values. Okay, what is star schema? So the fact table surrounded by dimension tables. When you see the data model diagram, dimensional model diagram, the fact table is surrounded by the dimension tables. We call it as a star schema. And okay, so your question is, what do you mean by quantify? Yes, they will ask you, what is the volume of your fact table? You said you have dimension tables and two fact tables. You have more dimension tables and only two fact tables. Tell me what is the volume of the fact tables and what is the volume of the dimension tables. So the fact tables are, it comes closer to 1 terabyte volume of data. Okay, but these are in our data warehouse, 5 years of data, they are maintaining it. You need to tell them. So, and then they'll ask you, we do not know, the questions will be very dynamic. What is data warehouse? Data warehouse, it's integrated and it holds the historic data in it, and it is a non-volatile. What do you mean by is integrated historical? So we get data from multiple sources like dimension tables and fact tables. If I see for the dimension tables, we get the data from our OLTP system. Like I said, on the Amazon, we order the product on their website. Those data get stored in the OLTP system. It's a transactional data. These data needs to get into your dimension tables. Okay, see, in the OLTP system also, the customer table will be there, but there the data are more normalized one. See, this one I will take it up later. Probably Monday I will explain you one more time. Okay, and what is data warehouse? What is how the data? See, the point here is if they ask you to, how many number of dimension tables, that means they want you to quantify. We have close to 10 dimension tables. Can you tell me the dimension table means? Not object transaction processing, online transaction processing. Okay, I will send you some links. Okay, and just take a look at it. Okay, and what exactly all the things. That way you can speed it up. So they will expect you to tell how many number of dimension tables, right? So you can say 10 dimension tables. They will ask you, can you tell me the dimension table? So we have some customer dimension, we have something region dimension, and then date dimension, and we have store dimension, and we have category and subcategory related dimensions. Likewise, we have a lot of dimension tables are there, and we have two fact tables. One is sales fact, and the sales fact is the one holding a lot of value in it. What is the granularity of your fact table? Day level. That means the fact table will capture day-to-day data. For example, today one customer, or today by 10 a.m. a customer raised an order in our OLTP, in our e-commerce website, and morning by let's say 11 a.m. Okay, and by 4 p.m. he cancelled the order. When the OLTP system, they don't maintain the history. Okay, and they maintain the history in your warehouse, data warehouse. The moment the customers comes and raises an order, that data will get into your data warehouse also. From OLTP to data warehouse, the data will get in there. Let's say you ordered a product today morning. Lovenish ordered a product, 3 product he ordered in a single order. That order and the product data will go to your fact table in the data warehouse. Okay, they would have set up some schedule refresh. Okay, from the OLT to that it will get stored. And let's say by 4 p.m. evening, by 4 p.m. he cancelled that order. The order which he cancelled it, that record will be deleted. The order itself deleted from the OLTP system, but whereas before deleting it, that data will get inserted into a data warehouse, so that we can keep track, which customer ordered when and when he cancelled. If I later point in, if I want to do some kind of analysis like customer wise, how many number of orders they raised it, how many number of orders they cancelled it. If I see someone with, this person is raising orders, but he is canceling it more frequently, then this is something like a suspicious transaction. Yeah, level of data. Yes, granularity means level of the data. So how detail you store the data. If you store the data on a day wise, if somebody is asking you what is the quarterly sales, and if they ask you, okay, quarterly sales, fine. Is there any way can I know the month-wise sales performance? Yes. And can I know the week-wise sales performance? Can I know the day-wise sales performance? Yes. Since we are storing the data day-wise, that is the granularity. Okay, that's the granularity. That much granular, so that you can do drill down. You remember drill down I taught you, right? So you can see the category-wise sales performance, and if they want to see the next level from the hierarchy, in the hierarchy, top of the hierarchy is your category, next level is subcategory, and next level is something like your product level sales performance. Okay, hierarchy. And similarly, yeah, low level of data, correct. Right, the drill down. So they want us to, so they implement drill down, and that's, suddenly they'll ask some other technical. What is difference between drill down and drill through? Can someone tell me? They'll ask you this question. What is drill down and drill through? Yeah.
Drill down is used for low level of data, sir. And for drill through, if you want to navigate from one page to another, then we use drill through.
Okay, one page to another.
One report.
Want to
Another, yeah.
Yeah. Is it possible to navigate from one report to another report file?
Yes, sir, for drill through.
Yeah, right. So that is possible using from one report to another report. You can drill through and then drill through, and one page of a report to another page of a report within a single report file. It's possible.
Possible, sir.
Right. That is fine. And they will ask you the volume of your data in your tables. What is the volume of your tables? Customer dimension, we have close to 10 million
Terabytes.
customers are there. 10 million customers are there. Whereas in the case of region, we have something called region and the country dimension. The country dimension, the volume of the data is not much. And in the case of a region dimension, also we don't have much volume of the data. We have close to maybe less than 10K, 10,000 records were there in country dimension and the region dimension. We don't have that much data in it. And so in that case, did you use direct mode or import mode when you connect to your SQL server? For those dimension tables have less volume of the data, we have used import because it's kind of a static data. It will not undergo changes frequently. Hence, it doesn't require frequent refresh, even if you import it into our Power BI desktop. Whereas in the case of fact tables, every minute the data, the data are getting changed. Some customers are inserting, creating the new order, generating a new order. Some customers they are modifying the existing order. Some customers they are canceling the order. Okay, so fact tables we use direct connectivity mode. For dimension tables, some tables we use import mode. Those tables that do not undergo changes, like you need to tell it with example, like the country dimension and then date dimension and store dimension and country date region dimensions. Okay, and the category dimensions, it will not undergo changes frequently. Those kind of dimensions we imported it because the import is much faster. The Power BI desktop, the Power BI, we have something called X Velocity engine. That is the driving force behind the performance. Right? So the X Velocity compresses the data, especially when you import, when you use the import connectivity mode, and then it loads the data in memory. Hence the performance is faster. But when it comes to, and important, they'll ask you this connection, what license they were using it, Power BI license. What is your answer? Someone type.
We are using free version, sir, and its capacity is 10 GB.
We use which one?
Free version, sir, of Power BI.
No, don't tell free. Okay, don't ever tell free because all the enterprises, they use only the premium license.
Okay.
Say you are working on huge volume of data. See, these are the questions called screening. With this, they will understand whether your profile is genuine or fake.
Okay, sir.
You tell them no, our customer and they are using premium license due to limitations with the pro license and including free nobody uses because the live system, if anything goes wrong, they cannot hold anyone accountable. Okay, remember.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
For our learning purpose, fine, but small office, very small office, they use free version and all. But
and sir, what is the capacity of premium version? Like free version at 10 GB, and what is the capacity of premium version data volume?
See, the volume of the data is, you just tell them the volume of the data is very high, and they wanted to use because they wanted to refresh the data many times. So per day, 48 times you can configure the refresh. Okay, whereas when you use the free version, you cannot do the data refresh more than 8 times, free or pro version, right? Licensing the premium license, you don't have much limitations there because the volume of data is very high and your end users might be generating the reports. What do you mean by end users? For example, ICICI Bank or Citibank, we are the end users. If I wanted to see my bank statement, I can log into their website with my credentials, and then I can go and select the duration which I want to generate the big bank statement. As a end user, for bank, I am the end user. I can go and see. It depends on the company, right? So here, in this case, when it comes to bank, lots of customers are there. Similarly, when it comes to e-commerce companies, they have a lot of customers. For example, you ordered the product, you wanted to see the order, you want to track your order, or you want to see what orders that you raised it in the last 1 month. Sometimes, right, you would have purchased some products in the past. You want to see the history of that. but you forgot that brand, you are very much satisfied with that specific brand and product. In that case, we are the end users. If you want to view the past history, all the things, that's kind of a report, right? It should be available. In that case, multiple users are accessing this system, right? So in that case, the performance is very much important. So that is the reason why they go for premium licensing. It should not cause any delay. Okay, delay is not acceptable. So we have something called live real-time reporting, real-time dashboard, and near real-time dashboard. There are certain information they wanted to see it in a matter of seconds. Few seconds they want to see, especially in the case of stock industry, right? They want to see certain data analytics. They do it. They wanted to see every few seconds. They want to see what is the position, right? So all the things they say, but you don't talk too much like a real-time data warehousing thing, the real-time reporting, dashboarding, and all. You tell them the refresh. Have you done any refresh? Yes, refresh we have done as part of our project, but it has been done by your on-site guy. See, certain things you need to be smart. You tell them our on-site guy only has access, but that is the reality. Okay, we are at offshore, and on-site our customer plays, our company employees there. He is our on-site coordinator, and he's the one scheduling all the thing. Everything is he's the one taking care of it. But at some projects, the American customers, right, they manage our project. Our people are working in Pune or Bangalore. Now, they are from the customer side. Some person they will manage this project. They will take care of the data refresh, incremental refresh, everything. They will do it. Anything like security, performance related, you can tell them. They used to do it. Security related. You can tell them it is all configuration, security, it's all done by them. Okay. Did you involve in any release management activities? Release management activities, we did not do any code migration. It is done by the release team. What do you mean by release management? Let's say you developed all your reports. Okay, so today is the delivery deadline. Okay, let's say this month, September month, 24th, you started your development, and your piece of code, right? Let's say you are supposed to develop 2 reports. 25th, 24th, you started, and today you completed your reports and you did some kind of unit testing, and you found some bugs and you fixed it. Everything is fine. Now it's working fine. Okay, now what you do is you inform it to the QAing team. Yeah, deployment. Yes, Shweta. Right, and once you tell so once you are done the testing and bug fixing everything, the QA team, they will move all your reports to their environment, their folder, workspace, right? They will move it to their folder, but the data will be different. Whatever the data they use it is different from the data that you used it. So in that case, what they do is they test it with different scenarios, and if they find any bugs, they will ask you to fix it. Once you are done with it, the code will be all the your reports will be moved to the UAT folder. UAT stands for user acceptance testing. Okay, the end users or the business users, this time, not the QA people, the business users, for example, the sales manager or purchase department manager or the category manager, assortment manager, right? So those guys, they would have requested some request, and they will go and test it. They will try with different slicer, everything. They apply this, and then they'll see everything is fine, and if they find any additional requirement, they will tell you. In case of any problem with respect to the report which you developed it, they will tell them, no, we want the different thing. Can you change this one and send it to me? The KPI, what I am saying is the formula is not correct. You need to use this formula. Who gave you this product, this formula? You can tell them, no, this formula we already discussed with you and we documented, we shared with you, did sign off. Okay, and then they'll recheck and everything is fine. So no, I'm not using my screen. Okay, that is the thing. Okay, right. So you don't. So only thing is we are part of. We are supporting them. We are supporting as per during the release code migration. But we were not given any access to that due to security reasons. We don't have access to their folder. But from offshore, in case of any issues or they'll ask us what is the file name or something else. If any error comes after migrating the code to QA folder, if any error comes, they will ask us to fix it. Any error comes, we will fix it, and then the QA team, they will start do the test. Okay, and if with the different data, and if they find any defects where it relates to the functionality, QA team will check only the functionality, which means whether the slicer, when I select different options, for example, I have a year slicer and I have the region slicer, country slicer, whatever I selected, based on which the other visual should get populated with the appropriate data. Okay, and the KPI should also get refreshed. In case of any issues, they will tell us we need to fix it. Just understand at a high level. Okay, let's not get into too much detail. See, the interview, they will see how good are you with technically, how good are you. So that is what they will expect you, right? The first thing is technical, and before they get into technical stuff, if you put 4.5 years experience, only then they will call you for an interview, and where there is no other way. So, but if you specify 4.5 years experience, they'll ask you questions the technically, and first thing is screening, like what license they are using it. Can you tell me your Power BI version? Which version of Power BI you are using it? So, what are the older version of the Power? You just go and do googling and note down for your sake of reference. Okay. Usually they don't ask all these things, but some cases they'll ask what versions you are using it, which version of the one you are using it. How do you know the latest version? See, it's all taken care by the admin team. They are the one do the installation on the customer side, and they do everything. They install it everything from their side. Only thing is we will be given access to their Power BI cloud service. Okay, they give us the cloud server name and username and password. We go and we go and just publish our report. That's it. Beyond that, we don't have any other access. We have a very restricted access to the Power BI cloud service also. In that way, you are safe. But that is the reality, because it's all highly secure. Americans, they don't give access to everything. Not only Americans, all the customers. Okay, because it's all very sensitive place. If something messes up, everything will get crashed. Okay, that is one thing. And they will ask you the KPIs. Can you tell me what are the KPIs that you used it in your reports? You said you developed 10 reports, and out of the 10 reports, 4 reports on an average, you said it comes close to 10 pages, right? Each report, 10 pages were there in 4 reports especially. And that's what you said. Can you tell me what are the KPIs? You are part of retail related. You involved in retail data analysis project. Can you tell me the metrics? Okay, and so like I said, the average transaction volume and the gross profit and net profit. This is common in all the domain, whether you work in the healthcare, yeah. So healthcare or energy industry, be it any industry, finance is very important, right? Gross profit, gross revenue, net margin. They'll ask you what is the formula. So why did they use this one? And then conversion rate. Okay, and what is the conversion rate? So what do you mean by conversion rate? So we have given advertisement. So how many of them they responded to our ad, and finally how many of them they purchase the products? And in the case of retail store, physical store, many customers they visit our store, but how many of the customers got converted? Got converted. That means how many of them actually purchased. So that and all we are tracking it. So for that purpose, we are using conversion rate. You need to tell them what KPIs that you use. At least if you tell 6 to 7 non-stop, right? So we have used gross and net profit and gross revenue and net revenue, and then average transaction value. And also we have used conversion rate and churn rate, and then the basket size. Okay, basket size. And those kind of thing, if you tell, right, so they will understand, okay, this guy has worked really. And if you can give them some examples for the KPIs. Like I said, what is the transaction value? So what is the transaction value? The total revenue divided by number of transactions. With this, the KPI, they can get to know. With this KPI, they get to know. This is this is the formula. This is the business logic we used it. With this formula, they get to know. What is the transaction value. This one tells us how much the shoppers spend on our store on an average, total revenue driven number of transactions, right? How many number of customers they spend on our store on an average. And then also you can see with that, when they look at these KPIs, it can give them an insight like, do we need to change our pricing strategy? And also, right, so it can also help you to come up with some other strategies, like is there any way we can do upselling, and we can do some kind of bundling, buy one get one free, buy two get one free. Okay, so these kind of things help them to drive or derive some other strategy, business strategy. If you tell them, they'll be happy. Okay, this guy already worked. And the next thing is they will jump into the technical part. The technical, they will ask you like, what is sync slicer, and how comfortable are you with DAX? They'll ask you how comfortable with DAX. So what is your rating? If you say your rate, I will send you the KPIs. Don't worry. Okay, I'll send you some KPIs. And even in the net also, you do Googling. Anyhow, I'll send you a few KPIs. You just take a note of that. Remember that, okay, during the time of interview. And the next one is they will ask you questions like the technical thing, DAX. In the DAX, how comfortable are? If you say 4 out of 5, you don't say I'm 3 out of 5. Then they will say, we have a lot of profiles. Why should I recruit you? Why should I interview, first of all? They will say, okay, we'll get back to you. Okay. You can tell them 4 out of 5. You can say 4 out of the 5, and they'll ask you questions related to DAX function, like what is calculate function? Did you use calculate function? When did you use calculate function? So can someone tell me what is calculate function? Why we need to use calculate function? Calculate function, using calculate function, you can modify the filter context. You can create the new filter. You can modify the filter context, and also the calculate function helps the context transition from row context to filter context. It is possible to do that. I would sincerely request you all to please revisit my tax related videos. Okay. See, a lot of videos are there, but still, I would recommend you to visit my DAX videos, and they will ask you the evaluation context. Okay. What is, yes, explicit filter, correct. They'll ask you the difference between all function and all selected and all except. Can someone tell me what is all function, all except, and if you don't give just the answer for the question, and you need to give some example also. For example, all function removes the filter, removes both the internal and external filter. Okay, and what is all selected? All selected respects the external filter. For example, you have a matrix, and you have a slicer. When you select a value, let's say you have selected Pune and Bangalore in your slicer. In your slicer, you have 4 cities. You selected Bangalore and Pune. Only for those 2 cities, the matrix will show the data, Pune and Bangalore. Okay, and you have a sales column, and then you have quantity column. Okay, the all function, what it does is, for all the 4 cities put together, in a slicer, 4 cities are, all the 4 cities put together, what is the total sales? That is the one will get displayed when you use all function. Okay, you created a measure wherein you have used, the total sales. Okay, in that measure, you have used all function. Okay, so what it does is, irrespective of the items that you selected in the slicer, still it shows all the 4 cities total sales repeatedly across the rows. Why it has to repeatedly show all the values? Because I wanted to know the sales contribution by each city. But I have selected only Bangalore and Pune in my slicer. Bangalore and Pune related sales only, the Bangalore city and Pune city related sales only it shows. Okay, in Bangalore and Pune, what is the total sales? It display. Bangalore and Pune put together, let's say 10,000, that is the sales. But all the four cities put together, let's say 40,000. The 40,000, when you use all function, what will happen is it ignores all the filter. Okay, and then it counts all the four cities total, and then it displays along with your sales column. Let's say you created a measure wherein you have used all measure, all function. Okay, for all function, you created a measure along with the sales. Let's say Chennai, sorry, the Pune 5,000, Bangalore 5,000, and against Pune, it shows 40,000 in the measure. Okay, you dragged and dropped the measure along the sales column, wherein you have used the all function. It will show 40,000, all the four cities put. That means even though you selected only two cities in the slicer, it ignores that filter. It does the total sales. And then for against Pune and Bangalore, that measure will display 40,000, 40,000. The reason why we are using this measure is, let's say in Pune you have 5,000 it displays and the total sales is 40,000. So 5,000 divided by 40,000, that one will give you what is the contribution of Pune in terms of revenue. Okay, so to calculate that, we see it's not like in Excel. So in the Excel, I need a single column is separate. In the Excel, we take the total sales. Yes, to finding a percentage, all function is helpful. Very good. How about all select? All select, what it does is it repeats the total sales of the items that are visible. Pune and Bangalore, how much I said? 10,000, right? The total is 10,000. This 10,000, let's say you created another measure wherein you used all select total sales. What will happen is whatever the total sales that are displayed after applying the filter, using the slicer, right? Pune and Bangalore, the 10,000 will be repeated across, so that within these two cities, what is the percentage of contribution? So how much contribution of sales made in out of 10,000? How much percentage of contribution or revenue made by Pune? How much revenue contribution by Bangalore? Sorry, Bangalore. They want to say. In that case, it will display that one. Whereas the all measure, it will show 40,000 of the total four cities put together. What is the revenue contribution by these two cities? But given these two cities total sales, out of the total sales of these two cities, what is the contribution revenue? In that case, you can use all except, all selected, and all except when when will you use it? All except is nothing but whatever the column you specified as part of the all except function, except that column. Rest of the column, filters will be ignored. But only for the column which you mentioned, it will apply the filter. Okay, you understood filter. You just assume that you have a matrix. Okay, in the matrix, when you drag and drop the sales, what will happen? Total sales. You display the total sales for the four cities. But when you, along with that, when you drag and drop the city column, what will happen is it does the breakdown automatically. That is because of the relationship between the tables, right? You have the country city dimension table, and then you have the sales fact table. Automatically it does the splitting. So in Pune, what is the total sales? And out of the total sales, automatically it does this splitting. It gives us the breakdown, right? For that, we don't have, so that is what you are filtering. Automatically the filtering is happening, automatic filtering. But to overcome that, in addition to the, yes, city, I want to display the city name. Along with that, I want to display the sales for each city. It is taken care automatically. Along with that, I need to have one more column. In that column, it should display all the four cities total value in each and every row. So that if I take my Pune sales and if I divide it by the total sales, it gives me what is the revenue contribution by Pune. Similarly, for the other cities, if I wanted to know the total sales the sales contribution by each city, if I want to say, I need to have the total sales. Yes, Shweta, you are correct. Finding percentage, we've used all function. The all selected, in addition to that, they want to get another insight out of the items whatever we selected using the slicer. For that, it should show the total sales, and for the items whatever we selected, see, if all selected, still respect the external filter, which means in this case the slicer, whereas all function, it will not respect your internal external filter. That is the difference. And calculate function is helpful, but all function you cannot use it separately. And all selectors you cannot use it separately. You need to wrap these functions. You need to call these functions inside your calculate function only. And also, apart from this, you can write the explicit filter. Okay, you have a filter function, right? So you can use a filter function as part of your calculate itself. Okay, the filter function returns a table. You need to remember that also. So if you say, yes, the filter function returns the output as a table, but what is calculate table? We have something else called calculator. Calculate table also returns the table, but the difference between calculate table and filter is the calculate table function, though it returns the table, still it does the context transition. Whereas the filter function, it does not do the context transition. If you want to convert from row context to filter context, it will work. For example, if you go to your report view, you have fact sales table, and here if you want to do some quantity into sales, it will work. Sorry, quantity into price. If you create any calculated column, that is your row context. Quantity into price. For each and every row, we need to take a product of the quantity with price. That will give you the sales amount. You want to create a new calculated column called sales amount. For that, you are using the existing columns, quantity and price, and you take the product of these two columns. So row by row, this expression, the quantity to price will get evaluated. Hence, it is called row context. Okay, can I use sum x function here? If you use sum x function, what will happen is it'll even the sum x function, it does the row wise iteration. Each and every row it iterates. But what happens is for each in the case of a report view, when you try to when you use a sum x function as part of the calculated column, it computes the overall total for your entire transaction. That total will get repeated for each and every record. Instead of displaying the quantity into price for each and every row, it takes the overall total sales and then it displays. Is there any way I can overcome this issue? But here, in the case of calculated column, even if I use sum function or sum x function, it is not doing the filter context. It is doing the row context. Calculate column is meant for row context. Okay, row level, it iterates, the records. Each and every record it iterates and then it evaluates the expression, quantity price for the first record, quantity price for the second record. Fine. But instead of using quantity and price, if I use sum x, right, what will happen is still it does the same thing. Only in sum x function you can use the expression like quantity price. Okay, so in that case it does the same thing, but it takes the overall total. For each record it does for example, all the 10 transactions put together, you have 1 million. The 1 million is reported for each and every row. I need to know each and every row what is the sales amount, but instead it gives me the overall sales amount in each and every row. That is not much helpful. So here you can use calculate function. When you use the calculate function, if you wrap this function by calculate, it will do the filtering. You can watch my DAX video, okay, and I will share you another video, capstone project. And I guess I discussed, during the interview preparation session. Okay, so there I discussed about it. So what about the project? So they will ask you about your current project, and the current project. See, in general, let's say you are working for Cognizant or any software company. They US people, they outsource the project to us. Why they are, initiated this project? That is the one need to come out. No, you don't have to discuss about all project. Nobody is interested because the timeline is very limited. They'll spend maximum 1 hour in the interview. It will not go beyond that. Okay. So they will not ask, but we have to put 4 projects at least in your resume. but they'll ask about recent project. That's all. Okay, they are very particular recent project. The recent project, so you need to tell them. See, don't listen very carefully. You can ask questions later. Okay, otherwise you will not understand the important thing. Why we need to tell the prospective employer at the time of interview why they initiated this project. There is a pain point in their existing system. The data where the report can be viewed by every person. You want to have some kind of security mechanism, and also right. So the data were not stored in a centralized place. The report takes longer time, and each people, each subject matter expertise, they store the data in Excel file. We don't have a common data system. So we have recently built a data warehouse. All the data are available, but still to cater to the internal users, business users, as well as our end users, we want to create some few reports. Those reports, first of all, we have some issues with the data. What kind of challenge that you post in your project? A lot of data related issues, like the inconsistency. We could see some kind of inconsistencies in the date column. For few values, they used a hyphen to separate month, date, year. In few values, they used forward slash. And this is one thing. Another thing is in the case of region, they used northeast somewhere, and they use different cases. Somewhere, they use capitalize thing, and somewhere they use upper case, lower case. What we did, we converted everything in a single case. Okay, the capital letter. For example, northeast, the first letter should be each words. The first letter should be caps letter. Okay, so that's how we can. This is inconsistency. These are the data related issues we found, and we found some kind of duplicate data, and they were appending the data, but they don't check after appending the data whether they have duplicate record or not. So we have found these kind of issues. We removed it, and they ask questions like, what is the difference between report and dashboard? Common questions. What is the difference between report and dashboard? Can you create a dashboard in Power BI desktop? You cannot. You have to create the dashboard on your Power BI cloud service only. Okay, so what is so big deal? Okay, but in the case of dashboard, we have something called pinning, PINN, pinning. So you can take the visuals from more than one report, and then you can pin it in your dashboard. That's all. Yeah, it's not much difference. Okay, simply copy paste. Take for example, you have a line chart in one report that is available. In another report, you have used, let's say, you have something like a God chart. Two different reports. There are specific visuals that you need to reuse it in your dashboard. Simply go and copy paste. That is called pinning, PIN. Okay, you can their dashboard is a single page wherein we display the KPIs and important reports. That's it. Security topic, you don't have to put. Okay, don't give your neck unnecessarily to them. Anything related to security, you tell them, our on-site guide, they do it. Okay, like row level security, everything. But end of the day, we support them. So how do you support them? In the case of dynamic row level security, they want us to enter the data into the table. Okay, to create a table and put the data. So which person needs to have access to which one? That one, they want to see it. And in that way, we just provide the support from our side, but we did not do anything. And the incremental data refresh, I know the logic, but I did not, have an access to do the configuring the incremental data refresh. Probably this Monday, I will show you, okay, how to do incremental refresh, all the things. We'll discuss it. What other things? They'll ask questions like this one, the direct mode, live connection, import mode. So what are the types of connectivities are there in Power BI? And when should you use which one? And other things are like, what is merge? What are the difference between append and merge? Okay, what are the types of joins are there? What is left anti-join? Can someone tell me what is left anti-join?
Left empty join is min A minus B. It's a common element of both the table we don't have take, we're taking this, the non-common element in anti-join. We can say is A minus B, like.
Okay, A minus
right.
B is fine. But when did he use that? Did he use that? Can you give me an example?
Examples we have used in, like we're using, sir, in student ID and roll number, sir.
No. Don't use anything academic. Okay, student roll number and all. They will easily capture, because you mentioned in your biodata 4.5 year experience, right? You tell them.
Yeah.
So we wanted to compare what products we sell. Let's say we have a few stores. We had a situation wherein we need to compare what products, the products which you sell it in store A, which we don't sell it in store B.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And in that kind of situation, we have used the left anti-join. You can tell them left anti-join, say left outer join. When did you use it? You know the theory, fine. So when what kind of scenario you used left outer join?
Scenario, sir. So like this in the dairy table, we want to select which item has to be selected. Like we have to choose like milk. So we have to do the in left outer scenario is like milk has to be selected from both the table. We use left.
Yeah, instead of saying generic thing, right, you can tell them, see, we have the product dimension table and we have the fact table, sales fact table. So there are situations wherein we need to check what products we sold and what products we did not sell. Let's our the stakeholders, right? You use this term stakeholder. Stakeholder means one of the employees in the company. Okay, maybe he's a manager for the specific department. Okay, the sales department, right? Instead of saying department, line of business. Okay, the sales line of business manager or the stakeholder is very particular about to know which products are we selling, which products are we not selling. So in that kind of situation, we use the left outer join with the product dimension table as well as the fact table. So in
Yes,
that
sir.
case, whatever the products which we did not sell it, along with the sales which we made it for other products, they want us to display it. In that kind of situation, left outer join was really helpful. Okay. And you can tell them left antigen is a classic example. You can tell them, okay, what products we sell, what are the products which you sell it in store A, which we don't sell it in B, right? We want to compare it. So in the real time scenario, we are dealing with millions of products, right? So we need to check it. This can help them to, give an idea. So why can't we sell this product in other store also? We have a lot of space available. Why can't you sell it there also? Why can't we list it there also, right? You can tell them with this kind of example. Other thing is they'll ask the questions like how to address many-to-many relationship. First of all, tell me what is many-to-many relationship and how do you address the many-to-many relationship? What is many-to-many relationship? Give me an example. Customer and account table, right? Customer account table is a classic example. So in this case, what will happen is a single customer can have many accounts. They say I have checking account, I have current account, and we have some other account, right? Similarly, each account can also have more than one customer. See, in my case, joint account, my mother and me, right? For both of us, we have a single account, joint account. A single account can have more than one customer. Each customer can also have multiple accounts. This is a classic example for the many-to-many relationship. In this kind of situation, we have to use bridge table. That's it. Right. So, so when it comes to many-to-many relationship, we cannot implement it as it is. I mean, it requires some kind of treatment. So in that case, we create a bridge table. In the bridge table, it will have the bridge table will have the customer name and sorry, the customer ID and then the account number. The account number in your bridge table and the account number, the account number in your account table, right? It has one-to-many relationship. Okay, one-to-many relationship. And the customer ID in your bridge table, the customer ID in your dimension table have, even in this case also one to many. See, in the customer dimension, each customer will have only one record. Okay. So one to many with your bridge table, customer ID and customer ID, and one to many with your account table to your bridge table. Okay. So each account will be held by one person. But in the case, customer ID and account number, these two forms the composite key. Okay, forms the formula. But in this case, the customer ID can be repeated more than once, right? More than once. Where in the case of bridge table, okay, what I will do is I'll share another video wherein I discussed about this one. Okay, you can take a look at this. And this is the one I gave you an assignment also, and I shared one solution. Then Shweta, I remember you asked one doubt that time, right? I shared that video also, solution video. You take a look at that one. I will resend that video also. Okay, you take a look at it. See, with this, what I understood, you need more time, right? Probably once next week, what we'll do is Tuesday, every alternate Tuesday and Thursday, lunchtime, we can have discussion, 1 hour, right? Just listen what I say and try to answer. And then if you need any further area for improvement, I will tell you practice on it. Okay, DAX is very much important because we are putting 4.5 years experience. See, forget about what you say. Let's say blindly blindly getting a job is not that easy in software company, right? So let's say you got a job mistaken, right? But the deadlines are very, very stringent. They will ask you, they'll give you very complex tasks and they'll expect you to complete in 4 to 5 days. That's all. Actually speaking, it requires, even for experience, it requires 8 days time, but they want you to complete 5 days time. Otherwise, they say, why should I give the project to Accenture or Infosys or Cognizant? Instead, I'll give it to Wipro. You said you have talented people. That's why I gave you. Completed in 5. But in resume, I could see that all you people are 4.5 to 5 years experience. According to them, that is the thing. But according to us, we are not supposed to after get. See, one guy, he called me and he said, sir, I need some help. Somehow I put some fake experience. I got a job. I cleared the interview. There are some guys, street smart. Somehow they cleared the interview. Now he's struggling like anything. And a lot of escalations. I am literally frustrated and a lot of depression. No sleep, nothing. At least I should have stayed with my professor job every month. At least I used to get some money. If I lose my money, I'm gone. That's why don't take risks. Prepare well. But I don't want to scare you. Okay, prepare well, and that's what the many-to-many relationship. See, each section they'll ask you what is the active relationship. What is active relationship? Active and inactive relationship. Lavnish.
Active and inactive, sir.
Yeah. So you can create only one relationship between the table. You cannot create more than one active relationship. Power BI.
Yes.
Power.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But in real-time scenario, we have to create more than, so there, because we cannot use only one relationship, right? So we have to create more than one relationship between the tables. Even if I create more than one relation, but more than one relationship we can create between the table, but only one relationship of those relationship, only one relationship will have active relationship. Okay.
Yes, sir.
First of all, tell me what is active relationship. So with active relationship, you can create active relationship for only one active relationship at a time. You can create it. Only
Yes, sir.
the relationship is active. It can pass the filter from one table to another table. It will propagate the filter from one table to another table. Okay, inactive relationship, it will not propagate the values from one table to another table because it is inactive. But how do you deal with this? So we use a DAX function, use relationship function, using which we activate the inactive relationship till the calculation is done. Okay, for example, you want to find out the total sales by shipped date. Okay, in that case, you watch that video, no, my video, right? The
Yes, sir.
active and inactive relationship videos, you watch it, and
Yes, sir.
so that is the one.
I re-
And then they'll ask you these questions. Okay, what is
yes, sir.
cardinality? What is cardinality?
Sir,
What is cardinality?
sir, cardinality, sir, means there is a relationship one-to-one, one-to-many, which we have seen in data modeling, which you speak in your video, sir.
Yeah, fine. Cardinalities, you just
Okay.
give them, just give them crisp answer. Cardinalities relationship when it comes to Power BI. But the other meaning for cardinality is unique values. But when it comes to Power BI, in the case of data modeling, it is nothing but relationship. So we have one to many, many to one, and many to many.
And many to many, yes, sir.
We came across many to many relationship also. For this, we have used the bridge table
Yeah.
for to implement the. And what is cross filter? What is cross filter direction?
Sir, cross filter, sir, you have tell me in.
What are the options are available in cross filter? Yes, you are something like single both.
So single both, both relationship, in any relationship we have many to many, we can select both in cross filter.
Yeah. So if you want to do bi-directional relationship, we want to create a bi-directional relationship. For example,
we can do it, but it is not.
Listen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I will tell you one thing. Okay. So the thing is, for example, if they ask you, okay, what is cross filter direction single? What is both? Single is, let's say we have two dimension tables, the customer dimension table and product dimension table. These two dimension tables directly linked with my sales fact table. Okay.
Yes,
here, the default cross filter direction is unidirection. And supposing I wanted to use my product dimension table to filter my customer dimension table, we don't have direct relationship there. So in that case, I have to enable the cross bidirectional relationship between the customer dimension fact table. See,
okay, sir.
Your customer dimension table can filter your fact table because the arrow is going pointing down, right? Pointing towards your fact table. See, when you create a relationship between the customer and sales fact table, you can see one arrow, right? Down arrow.
Yes, sir.
The link, you will see the down arrow. Can you filter your, the customer dimension table using your fact table? You cannot do it.
You can, yes, sir. No.
Opposite direction, you cannot do it, right? So if you, and my question is, you have product dimension is also there in addition to these two tables. Product dimension is also like customer dimension, right? The product dimension table can filter fact table, but the opposite is not possible. Okay, now you just think this way. The product dimension table can filter my sales fact table. If I wanted to filter my customer dimension using my product dimension, the only way of the roundabout way. If I enable the bidirectional relation between my fact table and my customer dimension table, so product dimension table can filter customer dimension indirectly. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this one. See, something like, so we have Shweta, me, and Tulasi is there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I am the fact table. And Tulasi doesn't know anything about you. Right? So in that case, if she wants to communicate anything to you, so she should tell it to me, and I have to communicate to you only, right? But
yes, sir.
between you and me, there should be a bidirectional relationship, right? It's something like you have given a contact number where I cannot return your call. What will happen?
So the communication is broke, sir.
Yeah, it is a unidirection, right?
Yeah.
So what we do is you can talk to me, and the other student can also talk to me. But let's the Shweta, right? Shweta wants to talk to Levenish. She need an intermediary person, which is a fact table, right? So in that case, between me and you, bidirectional relationship is there, so that Shweta can, whatever she communicate to me, I can talk to you, and then I can get the information to Shweta. So that is what is happening behind the scene.
Okay.
You cannot
Yes,
find this much detail in the net. Okay, I just gave you this example. For example, the opposite. For example, the customer dimension wants to filter the product table. How will you do that? How can you?
Customers, sir?
Customer dimension table wants to filter the product dimension table in this scenario.
Sir, how many customers visit
No, don't talk in depth. Wait. See, we discussed about customer dimension, product dimension in between fact table, right?
Yeah.
if you want to talk to the product table, let's say let's say you want to speak to Shweta,
Yeah.
but you cannot talk to her directly.
Yes, sir.
In that case, you are going to talk to me, but I should have a bi-directional relationship with Shweta, right? And Shweta should allow me to call her back, right? Bi-directional. You understood, right? So the same principle here. If the product table wants to filter the customer dimension table, then bi-directional should be established between your fact table and
Customer table.
The customer table want to filter your product dimension table, then product dimension and fact table should have bi-directional relationship. You understood or not? So if
Yes,
I
sir.
ask you a question like, I wanted to know how many number of product purchased by each customer.
Yes, sir.
The product details are available there. The customer detail is available here. You need to access it via your fact table, and fact table should filter your product table, right? Because the product name is available there only. They want
Yes, sir.
customer name, product name, and how many number of product they purchase, right? Something like count or something. So in that case, you understood, right? This is called bidirectional relationship.
Bidirectional, yes, sir.
Single unidirectional and bidirectional relationship. You give the same example. Supposing I want to use my product dimension to filter my customer dimension, I need to enable the cross filter direction, bidirectional relationship between the customer and fact table. This one answers many questions. So they don't have to ask so many questions with you. End of the day, they want to understand how in-depth knowledge you have when it comes to cross filter. If you explain the theory alone, not sufficient. With example, if you tell them, they will understand. Okay, this guy knows. They keep quiet. Okay, so this is, and then they can ask you, so what are the KPIs that you used it, and what is the DAX formula you have used it for this? Okay, and for example, the revenue, all the things, right? The total sales is sum of total sales, and for example, you have something called net revenue. I'll send you the KPI, the formulas. You just come up with some DAX formula, simple, equal sign divided by that, right? Sometimes you need to do it, and other question is, how do clients access your report? They access it via cloud. Okay, via cloud. The reports will be published on cloud. They access the report via the cloud. But that reports, in order to access our report, our customer website, right? They have some link. From there, they need to click on it. So, what gateway you used in your company? Gateway. Standard gateway. You tell them, don't say personal gateway. Standard gateway.
On-premise gateway, sir.
Yeah, right. So the gateway, right? Standard gateway, you can tell them.
Yeah.
Then they'll ask you what is a date key. Date key is a kind of a bridge. If I wanted to read any data which is available on-premise, so we need to have the gateway to be installed on a local server. So only then the users can view the data in their cloud report. By reading the data from my on-premise. Okay, using the standard gateway. We are using standard. Don't say personal gateway. Okay, and they'll ask you what is the difference between filter and slicer.
So filter is used to sort and filter. Like in slicer, no sir. Slicer is used to sort and filter. Like one slicer can filter 4 things at a time, while as a filter can do can do the meaning in one pane, sir. Like there are 4 types of filters are there: visual level filter, page level filter, all page filter, and deal through filters.
Okay, and so the difference is, another difference is the using filter.
So one
we can do visual level filter, right? Visual specific visual level filter we can do it.
Yes, sir.
So we can see the top sales, top n functions are available with filter, but with slicer we cannot do visual level filter. We cannot do it. But the slicer is sitting on top of our on top of the report canvas. The slicer is more user friendly, but filter, it requires a little bit programming background. Okay, the report background. So slicer, to use a slicer, they don't need any reporting, but they don't have to be tech savvy. Okay, And they will ask you about the X velocity engine. What is X velocity engine? Can you tell?
Sir, X velocity engine work on the direct mode, sir.
No. It is import mode,
Im-
not
im-
direct. Yeah.
Sir, Periquit X map is work
No.
on
That is what you are talking is query. What is that? Yeah.
PeriQ map,
Query folding.
perifolding,
Query folding will work
formula engine
with
and
the
storage.
direct mode.
Yeah.
Velocity is different. Okay.
Okay.
So X velocity will work only with your import mode. Okay. You just do.
Okay.
Okay. So you just so it'll be correct. My answer is correct. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And they'll ask about your SQL query. How do you trim your data? So using SQL query, how will you do that? And they'll ask you questions like, how will you find out the duplicate record using your SQL query? And how do you remove the duplicate records using your SQL? Okay, delete
Yes,
command.
sir.
Right? So those kind of things, top 2 salary, top n salary, how can you find out? These kind of questions you can do Googling and be prepared. And we will have one more round of discussion on this upcoming Tuesday. And in the interest of time, Tuesday and Wednesday we'll have the discussion because we don't have time because E and Y, they are looking for the resume quickly. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Wait till next week. Okay. Filter is for developer. Yes, Tulsi. Slicer is user friendly. And
Yes, sir.
yeah, X velocity is nothing but the Vertipack. Previously, it was called as Vertipack. Now it is called as X velocity. X velocity, what it does is when you connect, when you load any data using import mode, it compresses the data and load the data in memory. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It basically it converts your tabular data into columnar data, and then it does some
Sir,
kind of
sir,
encoding.
it's
Compress,
convert columnar data into tabular data, sir.
yeah, tabular into columnar data.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. And one more small request, don't use SAR in the software industry. They don't like SAR. Okay. And in the other industry, it is fine. And college and already, even I worked way long back, in college, I worked for 2 months or 3 months. We used to call our HOD and all, sir. But here, you can use the name. That is the culture. Even our company CEO, we call him by his name. Okay.
Okay.
You can also call me by my name. Okay, Satya. You can say Satya. Hi, Satya. You can tell me that. All right. But the
Okay.
reason is, right, they think if you say, keep calling Sar, that means, this guy is not sound, potentially sound. That is the reason why he's saying Sar and all. Right. He's not strong. He's not technically sound. That's why he's trying to please me. Right. The American, they think that way. See, the thing is, there are some interviews. First level interview will be done by our Indian people. Some cases, the Americans, they do it. See, but most of my students, they attended only the Indian, our local interviews only. Our people only, the Indian people only interviewed them. But after you get into a job, right? So the Americans, most of the projects are American projects only. Even UK projects, also the same thing. Okay, they don't prefer calling them as SAR and all. Okay, call by name, but let's not disrespect them, or it's not that we are disrespecting, but they prefer that a professional way of doing it. Another thing is make sure that you are very good with all these things. Okay, all these things, and I will share some more interview questions. Be prepared. And what is Z order? Note it down. Z order is Z. What is bookmark? When can you use bookmark? Okay, it is already, I'm running late. I need to catch up some sleep. So what we will do is we will next Tuesday, you note down, bookmark and what kind of scenario that you used bookmark. What is the advantages of that? Give me an example. All the things, not the one word answer kind of thing, right? It's not that if I ask some question, give me what is this. Don't explain the theory, but give some example, real-time example. That is what they expected. Okay, fine. It's getting late. This Tuesday, we will Tuesday and Wednesday, right? Meanwhile, Saturday, Sunday, spend time and go through on the many-to-many relationship related videos, cross filter everything. Each section, Power Query. Also, they'll ask some questions. Can you tell me if you function name? And what you do is you go to the Power Query editor and delete a column. Table dot remove columns. So we have some table dot remove column. Table dot replace. If you remember few functions, at least 10 functions. If you remember that. So these are the functions, I know it. but I did not do much coding in the Power Query. But don't say anything upfront, right? So, and don't talk too much, don't talk too less. And again, when they ask any questions related to, like they ask what is row level security, you can explain the concept with example. If you tell them, that is enough, right? If you talk too much also, it is not good, and too less also sometimes it is not good, right? So make sure that your response is very crisp, short and simple. Okay, fine guys. So thanks for all your time. So we will discuss again on this Tuesday. Let me see if Monday possible. We will have a discussion Monday itself, right? Monday and Tuesday we'll try to speed it up, because they are looking for profiles immediately. And if you have not shared your profile, please share your profile. I'll ask my team to create the profile, and with different projects, because we don't put all the same projects for all the students. Different projects, we put it and then we'll share it, okay, with the prospective employers. Do it fast, so that we do not know, right? Suddenly our people, if they take leave next week and I cannot do it, so with their help, I can do it. Okay, fine.
Okay.